I'm Jesse.
I'm Tim.
We're Plastic Empires, and we're here to bring you another Stars and Seals battle report.
I have got 4 squadrons of 2 artillery battleships and 4 artillery squadrons. They are all vice admirals of the balanced variety. I similarly have 2 balanced vice admirals in charge of 2 fleet carriers, 2 regular carriers, and 4 corvettes each. Then I've got 3 tiny squadrons here of 6 artillery destroyers, and 3 tiny squadrons of frigates over here, 6 each. They are both balanced as well.
Alright, I've got 4 squadrons of 3 fleet carriers and 2 artillery battleships, and 2 squadrons of 3 artillery battleships and 2 fleet carriers. All of them are the battleship rank. All of them have the balanced 5-star admiral.
We had a slight misconception of the rules here that Tim constructed his force around. Initially on our first pass, we didn't catch that you were supposed to re-roll damage results that didn't hit a ship type. Rather than just adding +1 damage. Didn't catch the last part there. So since Tim is anticipating not automatically losing battleships once the damage gets high enough, we just went ahead and went with this misinterpretation to not have him reshuffle the ships he brought. It ended up working out pretty well, and I don't think it affected the game too much other than how damage was taken on the Russian side. There was virtually no effect for the rules change on the American side.
Alright, we're going to have 3 objective areas, and at the end of turn 2, if you don't have a ship in one of these, then you are no longer controlling it. If you control 2 out of the 3, you immediately win the scenario no matter what the points have been destroyed of any variety. So you're looking to blow them out of the zone, completely control it, and then have the turn in, and that be the end of the game.
Alright, and here is our setup going into turn 1. First turn orders and movement have been given, as many all-ahead full orders have sent us launching into the center. All squadrons that could launch fighters did. One carrier group kind of holding back in the asteroids. Could have been a mistake. But we'll see. We've already got several small groups getting into close combat. Russian squadrons launch fighters at the charging frigates. Just by happenstance, the frigate commanders rolled better on their all-ahead full than the destroyer commanders. The fighter strikes have killed 2 frigates in this squadron, as well as the squadron lead, and killed the leader. Similarly, 2 more fell over here, but the leader survived. Heading into turn 2. Turn 2 orders. We have pretty much all the squadrons that have ran up exchanging fire with their Russian counterparts. Launch some extra fighters in the back by the asteroid field. All the Russian squadrons that could launch fighters launch fighters. And then we've got our battle of juggernauts here, as the American artillery squadrons are putting the heat on this wing of the Russian force. Anything else I missed now? Alright, time to roll some dice. Alright, after artillery fire, We have seen a lot of dead destroyers and frigates on this side, only taking out that one lone battleship over there. On this side, quite a lot better for the Americans, taking out 7 battleships over here at the loss of that frigate squadron, and taking a lot of casualties from the artillery destroyers and artillery cruisers. But the Russian force is a little bit weakened over there, only having 2 carriers left in that one squadron and a lone artillery battleship in the center. On to movement. In the fighter and missile phase, American flights launched from here struck at the wounded Russian squadron, but their fighters intercepted and the missiles had no net effect. However, on this side, this American squadron launched fighters at the remnants of this Russian squadron and was able to destroy the last 2 carriers, leaving no flights remaining on the field at the end of the second turn. At the end of the turn, all 3 zones are contested. As we go into turn 3. Turn 3, we have ongoing artillery exchange. We have the strong Russian squadron here on this flank getting hit by the remnants of one of the American squadrons and another American artillery squadron. We've launched fires and having a artillery exchange between the carrier group and the lone Russian battleship in the back. Then over here we've got a swarming melee of the remnants of the small destroyer squadrons trying to intercept the Russian carriers to prevent them from launching flights. The American battleship groups are slowly moving in to also add some pressure to this flank. And the American carriers over here are launching fighters and hoping to get in closer. On to the artillery phase. The result of the artillery phase, the Americans have lost 1 cruiser while fortunately wiping out the last Russian squadron on this wing. The lone Russian battleship perished over here, but did put some damage on the carrier group in the back. Over here, both American artillery destroyer squads have been destroyed, leaving the lone frigate there in that zone, although the carrier is still in position to move in. The last remaining American destroyer group is in the center and has fired into this group with the battleships over here and managed to destroy a couple of battleships on that side. Although I guess that wasn't the destroyers, those were the battleship groups. The destroyers were not able to fire over there. That's it. Missile flight phase, this carrier group. So their fighters in there and were able to destroy the last artillery battleship of that group. The Russian carriers decimated the lone frigate. And this fighter group managed to scrape up a couple of hits on this squadron over there. I forgot to mention, in the artillery phase, this squadron lost a battleship and a cruiser as well. We are on to turn 4, with the Americans having secured 1 of the fields and the other 2 contested. Turn 4 orders. The Russians are trying to turn around to make sure they still are contesting the 2 objectives. American fleets pretty much standardly just returning fire, launching fighters. This other carrier group is starting to turn around to get back into the fray. And these 2 battleship groups are slowly trying to reposition themselves to get back into the fight. But they are going to take some time, and they've got some damage to repair. On to the artillery phase. Alright, for the artillery phase, the Russians were entirely unfazed. The Americans got clobbered, losing 2 cruisers and a battleship. On to the movement phase. Both American carrier groups decide to converge on the 1 lone Russian carrier and have finally finished it off. Over here, the Russian carriers launched a strike against the remaining destroyer group and destroyed 2 destroyers. On to round 5. Fifth turn for orders. The American forces are mostly just focusing fire on this squadron, as this other Russian squadron made an evasion check as its first orders. So it only received fire from this squadron, which was mostly out of range to the other one. This Russian squadron retaliated against the cruiser squadron as they are being jammed by the 2 squadrons that flew up. This squadron returned fire against this squadron over here. Alright, in the artillery phase, the Americans have lost 2 cruisers from this group and the lone cruiser over there, but their focused fire has finally withered down that Russian squadron holding the center, so that gives the Americans the win with holding the center and the left flank. The right flank is still stolidly held by 4 Russian battleships, contested by the carrier group and an American battle group, but that is game here on turn 5.
That was our game. What did you think?
I really enjoyed the scenario making us get close and not a turn 7 situation where we don't really have to be anywhere near anything. Like, I just really like the having to commit quickly, at least partially into the middle. I really enjoyed that. Like, narrowing the zones, I don't know if that would help or hinder, but I really just enjoyed the fact that you have to commit instead of maybe turn 7 you can think about it.
Yeah, I think when we you came up with this scenario, we just kind of talking about it before the game. Yeah, I think yeah, it was a good idea. There aren't too many scenarios in it yet. I think I'm sure they'll expand upon that later. But yeah, I kind of like that we just kind of came up with this scenario that did change how we've played, because we've played a couple of games now, and this was the first time where we did feel like we played, something to secure the board. And I'm not sure that like traditional miniatures game scenarios like holding table corners necessarily would work, but I kind of like these zones. I don't know, like more of a narrative description you could apply, evacuation zones over a planet or something. I mean, there's a number of reasons why a zone like this could work, but I don't know. I like the variants. I kind of hope to see more scenarios expanded in the future. I'm sure Assault Publishing Studios will add a lot more to this game as time progresses. I still kind of experimenting with a couple units. I want to play battle cruisers again, or battle cruisers in one of these battle reports sometime, but I didn't build any out this time. I know you tested carriers, and I kind of went for more of a meteor artillery focused force, and I think we've definitely learned some lessons there with how we like to use carriers.
Certainly, I would have been better off by having specialized carriers, and in my mind, they worked differently than I made them execute. Because having some that would have spit out fighters every turn, even if they were farther back, then that would have them committing that numbers every single turn, and that will really make my game suffer.
Yeah, I've tended to use them as like a missile shield, but I've not gotten a terrible effect from them using them to actually deal damage. I don't know, I feel like there's still something there that I've got to figure out. But it was a fun match.
I always favor offense to defense, because if in offense your dice flop, you don't feel as bad, but defense, when your dice flop, it mentally hurts.
That's true, certainly true. I do enjoy playing the mini small guys type of armies, but this was a good match. I enjoyed our kind of off the cuff scenario. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Give us a like and subscribe if you like this type of thing. Hopefully we'll have more stuff coming. Potentially Victory at Sea and Kings of War, maybe. That's what we're looking at. So let us know if you liked it. Let us know if you want to see anything else in particular.
I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we put up a game for you.
Thanks again to Assault Publishing Studios, creators of Stars and Steel. Thingiverse user Smite for the STLs for the American ships, and for Nihilore for the royalty-free music.